Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we will unbox another Chinese GPU, which is the Aisurix RX 580. I bought this for 5,000 pesos, which competes with the GT 1030. Looking at the box, it looks generic. There's no clue that you are buying an RX 580 except for the sticker here. However, as compared to MLLSE and 51 Risk, the box is pretty much colorful. They also have a tagline, "Light up your joyousness." Behind the box, there's a lot of text, so they are hoping to achieve excellent graphics clarity. Note that they are not even trying and they are just hoping. The last phrase in the paragraph is also not constructed well, but I assume that they mean with Aisurix graphics card, this can be easily realized. They also have integrated special frequency processing core. High precision subpixel supports video scaling of any size, and even smaller video clips can look like high-resolution video. With the typo error aside, that's just plain bullshit. Perfect image quality, more call gains? What does call even mean? The modeling and environment of lifelike environments, super speed and performance. Allow users to have no excellent compatibility. What? With all that said, I think brands who do not have a budget for proofreaders should stick to 51 Risk strategy, which is to talk less. Less talk, less mistakes. They probably spent a good marketing fund for this, which for me is useless. They should have just spent their money by putting in the GPU that they are selling and its corresponding specs. However, I do understand in manufacturing that this is simpler for them. Anyway, opening the box. So upon opening, you'd see a thin foam padding. At the top, there is a 6-pin to 8-pin power connector adapter. So I find this weird as for one, you don't need it for this GPU. And it's also rare to see a PSU supplying 6-pin only. Second is that I find this very dangerous. 6-pin can output 75 watts and 8-pin can output 150 watts of power. With this adapter, your GPU will think that it can pull 150 watts, but your cable can only supply 75 watts. Two possible outcomes. Either a power connector will melt, or hopefully, your PSU will trigger its overcurrent protection, or OCP. Anyway, this is the GPU itself. This anti-static bag smells bad. If you know a monoblock chair in an open field environment, sat on by multiple people, and then showered by rain, and then dried up by the sun, that's how this smells. In short, like a smelly armpit. This might be an isolated case though. There is no warranty information. It smells really bad. So this GPU has two fans and it also has a fan stop mode, and the fans are pretty quiet in my opinion. Length is at 215mm and height is just a bit over standard of 122mm. It is a 2-slot GPU. Output ports are 3 display ports and 1 HDMI. It has a backplate. However, there are no thermal pads, which means that this is just for aesthetics and rigidity purposes only. It requires a 6-pin power connector, which just cemented my point that you don't need a 6-pin to 8-pin adapter at all. There's also a PCIe connector cover, which is surprising at this price point. Anyway, let's tear this down. So looking at the design of the card, it has 4 screws, which is probably it. Give it a wiggle. There you go. So the fan is here. There you go. It's weird that it has 5 VRAM modules. So I cleaned up some of the memory just to see if they're all the same. So this is an R2C022A. 2C022A. Oh, okay, so I know now why there are only 5. It's because there are 3 of them here underneath this mini heatsink here. It's also a bit dirty for some reason. Okay, so I'm just wondering if these are underfills. They look like underfills. So questionable thing is this one. It doesn't serve any purpose. This one looks a bit old. It's already chipped off. Okay, so at the back, looks normal. Can you remove the heatsink? Yes. So underneath these are likely the VRMs, which can be seen slightly. Stuff to remove. Oh, there you go. So these are the MOSFETs for the power delivery, which has an isolated cooling solution. This is similar to how Sapphire does their cooling solution, which is good. The core is on the darker side for some reason. Oh, there's a date here. So there's some sticker here, which is either 2020 or 2021. Now is 2023, so this raises more questions than answers. Anyway, the design of this board looks very much above standard. So it has a separate cooling module for the VRMs and weirdly enough, a separate cooling module for 3 of the VRAMs. However, the core looks a bit old, doesn't look to be really brand new, not that silvery, but it's not burnt. Looks a bit suspicious, but I have no evidence. Also be careful of these push pins because these are plastic, so you might break it off at some point. So I suggest to not touch this at all. Leave it as is. As for thermal pads, I forgot my caliper again, but it looks like probably 1 mm. As for these fans, they look serviceable since there are 3 screws that you can remove. So this is better than the MLLSE solution, which is good. Okay, so this is the GPU fan shroud. Again, it can be serviced easily as there are 3 screws that ties the fan to the fan shroud. Overall, it looks good. Better than what I've known from other brands. Okay, so that's it for the teardown. As for the thermal result with HWinfo64, I don't have a thermal output for GPU temp and hotspot temps, but instead I have an output for GPU thermal diode. In that, it averaged at 74.5 degrees Celsius with a max temp of 76 degrees Celsius. There are more thermal outputs such as the memory temps and VRM temps, but they all have the same reading, which is very suspicious. So I then reran the thermal benchmark and used GPU-Z instead. In that, it averaged at 73 degrees Celsius with a max temp of 76 degrees Celsius, which is pretty much the same results from hardware info. What I could say is that Aisurix is not giving the full picture for thermals, so don't trust these results. As for the benchmarks, I have removed Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy as it was also removed in Xbox PC Game Pass. I have now added Cyberpunk 2077, but I don't have sufficient data yet for comparison. On average, this performs roughly the same as RX 6400 on PCIe Gen 4 and the GTX 1650. GT 1030 performs 70% worse, which is expected. Okay, so overall, at 5,000 pesos or less than $100 US, if I look at performance alone, this is a clear winner. Your usual choice of GT 1030 and RX 550 is of no match to this GPU. However, do note of the risk. One is the sketchy GPU temperature readings, which will give you a bad time during maintenance. Second is the smelly anti-static bag, which is also a bad sign of handling. Third is that RX 580 should have been out of production at this point. Looking at the sticker inside, this proves that it is at least 2 years old already by now. It may have been produced for the Chinese crypto mining market, which may have not been sold for some reason. Again, this bullet point is just a speculation. Okay, so that's it for this video. Do let me know in the comments below on what you think. Thanks for watching. Do like or dislike and subscribe for more unboxing and benchmarks. Bye!